Hello there, welcome back to ExamPadi. Today's topic is Home Trade Part 3. And in this lesson we will 1. Analyze wholesale trade, including its features and functions. Number 2. Discuss the channels of distribution involved in wholesale trade. Number 3. Examine types of warehouses and discover necessary documents used in home trade. Have you ever wondered what wholesale trade means? Wholesale trade occurs when a person or business purchases an item from a seller in order to sell to a buyer. A wholesaler is a person or company that buys products in bulk from manufacturers or producers and sells them to retailers, who then sell them to consumers. Features of a wholesaler. Number 1. Wholesalers buy large quantities of goods from manufacturers or producers and sell goods to retailers, who then sell to consumers. Number 2. They act as intermediaries between manufacturers and retailers. Number 3. Wholesalers often provide credit to retailers or other customers. Number 4. They have access to market data to make informed decisions. And number 5. Wholesalers offer discounts for bulk purchases. What are the functions of wholesalers to the manufacturer or producer? Number 1. They buy in bulk and sell small quantities to the retailers. Number 2. The wholesalers can purchase large quantities from the producers, which they store in the warehouse until the retailers require them. Number 3. They arrange transportation to move goods to retailers. Number 4. Wholesalers sometimes anticipate business risks such as damage, market fluctuations, distribution, and they take appropriate measures to reduce their impact by taking the necessary insurance cover. Number 5. The wholesalers may prepare commodities for sale by packaging, branding, and grading for retailers. And number 6, they promote products to retailers and provide marketing support through advertising and promotion. Let's explore the middleman. The middleman is the person who bridges the gap between the manufacturer and the consumer. Middlemen are independent business enterprises that constitute a link between producers and consumers. They find out what goods and services are needed and where they are required, then collect them to satisfy their wants. Types of middlemen. Middlemen can be distinguished according to the following different services they perform. Number 1, merchants. These middlemen are the owners of the goods and they market and take on the risk of ownership. They hold the goods along the distribution channel until they pass the title to their customers. Merchant wholesalers come in various forms, including specialists, rack jobbers, cash and carry, and truck wholesalers. Number 2, agents. An agent is employed to sell goods on behalf of the principal. They play a crucial role in negotiating sales and purchases, or both, on behalf of their principals with their negotiation skills. Agents include brokers, manufacturers, auctioneers, selling and deal-killer agents. We also have different types of agents. A. Brokers. These are agents employed to bring into contact intending sellers and buyers. Brokers never possess any goods and do not sell them in their names. They do not have the authority to fix prices and can act for several principals simultaneously. They negotiate the goods with the buyers and inform the seller about the bargaining. B. Manufacturers' agents are commercial agents who have the authority to sell goods and keep custody of goods until the goods are sold. They are independent because they are not employees of any manufacturer. They do not control pricing policy and have a continuing relationship with their principals. C. Selling agents perform the complete range of marketing functions for manufacturers. They perform the fullest and most comprehensive range of marketing functions for the manufacturers, rendering manufacturers' marketing departments more or less redundant and superfluous. D. Del-Keder agents are agents employed to sell goods on the understanding that they would take full responsibility for any default on credit sales. They undertake that the buyer will pay. If they don't, the agent will be liable. E. Auctioneers. Auctioneers are agents whose duty is to sell goods at public auctions. So, let me put this to you. How can middlemen survive in wholesale trade? The middlemen in wholesale trade should not be eliminated because the functions they perform to both the producers and ultimately to consumers cannot be carried out by any of them, that is, the manufacturer or consumer. The reasons why they should not be eliminated include: number one, bulk breaking. It is the role of the middlemen to eliminate bulk buying. Number two, credit facilities to the consumer. Number three, warehousing. Number four, financing. Number five, giving advice to both manufacturer and consumer. Number seven, conduct market research. Number eight, branding and packaging. Number nine, provision of transport. And number 10, risk bearing. As we move on in this lesson, we'll be considering channels of distribution. Channel of distribution is the path through which the ownership of goods is transferred as it moves from the producer to consumers. There are different channels of distribution. Number one, sometimes goods can move from producer to an agent, and from an agent to an wholesaler, and from an wholesaler to a retailer, and then to the final consumer. Number two, goods can also move from the producer to the wholesaler, to the retailer, and then to a final consumer. Number three, goods can move from the producer to the retailer and directly to the consumer. Number four, goods can move from producer to an agent, and from an agent to a retailer, and from a retailer to the final consumer. Number five, goods can move from the producer to an agent, and from an agent directly to the final consumer. Number six, goods can sometimes also move from the producer to the wholesaler, and from an wholesaler directly to the final consumer. And number seven, goods can also move from the producer to the final consumer directly. What are the factors to consider before choosing a particular channel of distribution? The key factors to consider when choosing a channel of distribution include the following. Number one, consider the number of potential buyers and competitors. Number two, financial capability of the producer and the nature of the goods. Number three, identify the location, size, and preferences of your market audience. And number four, evaluate the costs associated with each distribution channel and ensure a steady supply of products. We'll proceed in this lesson by exploring warehouses. Warehousing is concerned with all activities that help in storing goods until they are needed or demanded in order to ensure uninterrupted and regular supply. Types of warehouse. Number one, state warehouse. This is a government-owned warehouse where seized goods are kept until they are needed or sold. Number two, manufacturer's warehouse. This is the warehouse owned and equipped by the producer at the factory site or depot to store its products until they are sold. It enables the producer to produce ahead of demand. And number three, wholesale warehouse. This is owned and managed by the wholesaler and is used to store a wide range of purchases from various producers. Wholesale warehouses are located near distribution or sales centers. As we wrap up this lesson, we will explore the documents used in home trade. Number 1. Trade Journal. A trade journal is a booklet containing articles, write-ups, and advertisements about a trade. Thus, it provides new information and products for potential buyers on various items. Number 2. Letter of inquiry and request for price quotation. This letter asks the seller to supply more information about the goods to augment the knowledge that the buyer has acquired from the trade journal or other sources. At the same time, the letter may request a price quotation. Number 3. Catalog or price list. A catalog is a list of goods a seller sells. Usually, the catalog contains photographs or illustrations and description of goods in terms of size, color, and other measures or indications of quantity and quality. Number 4. Purchase order. This is the process of completing and submitting an order form prescribed by the seller, sending your order form or simply writing to that effect. Number 5. Invoice. The seller issues an invoice, a transparent transaction record, to the buyer detailing the product or services purchased, their prices, and payment terms. The invoice is also used for accounting and tax purposes, providing a secure and reliable record for your purchase. Number 6. Purchase order. The buyer issues a purchase order to the seller, outlining the product or services to be purchased, quantities, prices, and terms of sale. Number 7. Bill of lading. This document is issued by the carrier or shipping company and acknowledges receipt of goods for shipment. It serves as proof of shipment and details the goods being transported. Number 8. Certificate of origin. A certificate certifying the trade goods country of origin is required for customs clearance and may determine applicable tariffs or import duties. Number 9. Packing list. This list includes the content of a shipment, including quantities, weights, and dimensions of each package. It helps verify the shipment's contents and facilitates customs clearance. Number 10. Insurance policy. A contract between the buyer or seller and an insurance company that covers loss or damage to goods during the transit. It protects against financial risks associated with transportation. And finally, number 11. Issued by a financial institution, guarantees payment to the seller upon presentation of specific documents and ensures the seller receives payment of shipped goods. Other documents include reference letters, pro forma invoices, advice notes, credit notes, debit notes, checks, and so on. We have come to the end of our study on home trade. Attempt these questions to evaluate yourself. Number 1. Analyze the terms wholesale trade and wholesaler. Number 2. Define warehousing and outline 5 documents used in home trade. Number 3. Highlight 3 features and functions of a wholesaler. And number 4. List the types of warehouses explained in this lesson and other documents required for home trade. Thank you for learning about home trade part 3 with me today. I'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.